Hey, are you in Sa13? Oh, come on in. We'll show you around. So welcome. Let me show you some parts and pieces of the classroom. When you first walk in here, you're going to see the sink over here. And these are going to be the cubbies where the students can unpack and pack up their things at the end of the day. One of their jobs is that we ask them to organize their things, put their folders where they belong. And we have lots of things to show you today. We talk a lot about this stuff, which is the skyline, the plane line, and different ways that we write letters. For foundations. We keep all our iPads in here so they're safe each day. And if you take a look, we have lots of posters sharing information about the kinds of different letters. This is the Promethean board, where we do lots of learning on. I'm going to switch the camera so it's hard.
And here we have the behavior management chart that your kids work very hard to earn their prize to take home. And we'll explain what that is a little bit later. We have all their desks over here, socially distanced. They have to be 6 feet apart. As you can see, I'm moving them now as we speak to set up for tomorrow morning to make sure everything is 6 feet. We have the red tape on the floor as our guides to be able to keep the kids apart. Of course, their desks move a little bit, but for the most part, they're very good.
You know, one important thing that we're doing each and every day is wiping down the tables and the desks and the chairs. And before we go home each day as well. After they eat their lunches, we wipe them as well. And we're sure to use.
We love our Clorox wipes.
You had to give it the plug. So yeah, really good stuff for killing those germs. And let's take a peek at the curriculum. Hold on a second. Miss Adler wants to show us something else.
Just one more thing. Here are our classroom rules that the children helped us write, and they had to sign like a contract, so they have to follow them. And they are reminded throughout the day of our classroom rules.
Yeah, and the rules are really to make this year great, because if everyone's following the rules, then we can have lots of fun. Well, let's take a quick peek at the curriculum. I'm going to start with the ELA over here. This takes up most of the table, but this is some of our guided reading book that we shared on one of our guided reading lessons. This start with a literature anthology of the different types of stories. Then there's a workbook where we do really close reading. There's also a reading companion where we do things like Venn diagrams. And this is the book that was sent home. We're only doing the first couple pages in that, and like I said, we'll tell you when you can move on. This is another large guided reading book of the simplistic stories, and then we have the grade level stories in the literature anthology. But I'll be sending those home. And lastly, before I move on to math, is the high frequency words. We practice the spelling and the term, and then the vocabulary words that we do each every other Monday. And you see a picture, definition, example, and we ask a question.
Okay,
Take it away.
This is our math book, and what we do in class is I rip out the pages, or I should say Mrs. Nolan rips out the pages for me, so the kids can work on them without having to worry about the big book, and this way they can take the pages home as they finish them. They do have perforations, so they're easy to rip. So this is the math workbook we're working out of. And it's a great math book. I love working out of this book. It's got lots of nice pictures for the kids. This is our social studies textbook, where right now the kids have met their friend Andrew, who talks about going to school. And we read from this every day, as well as on some of the days the children have worksheets to do. This is our foundations workbooks. Oh, and the children that are home don't have the textbook, but I put it up every day, so we read from it on Zoom. But they do have the math workbook at home that they work out of when I do my Zoom. The foundations book, we have all the sounds the children are learning. and we're just in the very beginning of foundations of first grade, but they're catching on nicely from what they learned in kindergarten.
And each sound that they learn, they color in the keyword, the picture that helps them remember the word.
Right, this is nobody's notebook, so it doesn't have any coloring in. They get assessed every so often where they have to write sounds that we say, words, trick words, current words. It becomes involved, but it all becomes routine with the children. And
One more thing is the science. This is the science unit. It is very new. I mean, I'm so used to doing plants and animals in the beginning of the year, and this year we started off with an engineer. And these pictures, I'll take photographs and send them on the Nearpods, or the students have these at home to access, and I'll let you know when we do that. But Miss Adler, you were saying?
we have guided reading over here. We started off with the different levels that the children are on. Each folder is a different story with questions, worksheets, and assessments. And I also want to point out that every child has their own tote bag. In the tote bag is the one notebook that you did send in, but we really don't use it because we are now emailing. But it also has in it crayons and pencils, and this goes with the children to whatever therapy they have, if the therapy needs it, because they're not allowed to use any of the therapist's materials either, just like we can't share in here. I had to put away all the crayons, extra crayons, markers, and pencils. So they take these totes with them, they pick their color, their name is on it, it stays in their cubby.
And also, the therapist initially would tell us, oh, take out that, they need to take that home with them. But now they're raising the bar and telling the students, you're going to need to take that worksheet out and bring it home with you. So they take it out of the bag and they put it into the cubby by themselves. And these are things that don't happen overnight, but over time. Well, we hope you enjoyed our virtual video. There's way more questions to answer, so we'll be ready and waiting for them on our virtual open school night.
And we'll explain about the behavior board, because I know a lot of you are curious. And that's a sneak peek of Sa13.
Yeah, thanks for your time.
Glad to have you.
Thanks for your polite listening. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.